Hi, I'm reporting to you live from COP26 in Glasgow, Scotland, with Climate Generation's Window into COP26 delegation, and we are doing a series of explainer videos to help you understand what's happening on the ground in Glasgow. Today we're doing a video on 1.5, which is a number that's been going around the world this week during the climate negotiations. But what does it mean and why does it matter? At the base level, 1.5 is the number of Celsius degrees of warming set out in the Paris Agreement. That is, we need to limit our world to warming 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels in order to avoid the most catastrophic impacts of climate change. If we don't take serious and systemic action this decade, scientists project our world will warm by 3 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. Experts say meeting the 1.5 degree target means slashing global emissions nearly in half by 2030 and to net zero by 2050. And the pressure is on for COP26 because climate change is happening and it's here right now. It's important to note that no level of warming is safe. The most affected people and areas on the front lines of the climate crisis are already losing their homes, their food security, their culture, and their lives. 1.5 is not just a temperature to include in speeches and targets. It's a threshold for climate justice. The cool part about being at COP26 is you have access to people from around the world. So I took the opportunity to chat with some folks in the hallways and passing me everywhere to ask them, what does 1.5 mean to you? Let's hear what they have to say.
Hi, yes. I'm Alistair Dutton and I'm the Chief Executive of SCIA, which is the Scottish equivalent of Catholic Relief Services for those of you in the US. What 1.5 degrees means for me, or more importantly for the people we work so closely with, is less food, more floods, more starvation, more migration. People are constantly telling us how they don't know when to plant anymore. If they do plant, their plants don't germinate. If they do germinate, they wither and they die more and more frequently. Floods are increasing in frequency, as are typhoons and strong storm events. So we have to keep below 1.5 degrees. Otherwise, we're going to see more and more of that. And it is always the poorest people in each and every country who suffer first and suffer worst.
So my name is Julius Ngoma. I'm from Malawi, working as National Coordinator for Civil Society Network on Climate Change back in my country. And 1.5 degrees, reaching that level, to me, it means we're having more problems in the global south when it comes to issues to do with heat, but also the rainfall. Our rainfall has already been erratic for the last couple of years, and to going to 1.5, it means we are going to have more and more erratic rainfall, more and more heat, and with extreme drought events. Thank you.
My name is Catherine Robinson. I'm from South Africa. I represent an organization that defends Indigenous people's rights to land, traditional knowledge, and self-determination across Africa. And for me personally, 1.5 means that the global north owes the global south debt-free reparations for the damage that they've caused to the environment, and ultimately reparations for young people in the global south who are inheriting a crisis. So it's also about intergenerational justice. Yeah, 1.5 means reparations. It means a complete overhaul of an economic system that is fundamentally against planet and people, fundamentally oppresses women, queer identifying and marginalized communities in and from the global south, and those people are black, they're brown, they're indigenous. So that's what 1.5 means.
Thank you much for this invitation. My name is Carla Madueño. I am Peruvian ecologist, biologist by training. I am attending this COP as a youth representative. I have been panelist just in the event that finished now, talking about how to raise the climate ambition bar from the youth perspectives and demand. Here I shared my story coming from a country like Peru, which is especially climate vulnerable, being one of the top 3 most vulnerable countries across the globe. And I especially shared the example of one asset that we have, which is the the wonderful glaciers in our Andes, which are at the moment threatened by the increasing temperatures. And as these glaciers retreat and disappear and go extinct, also our water supplies for our rural communities and our farmers, which sustain pretty much the entire country, gets threatened. So I want to make these stories touch kind of uh, connect people with what's happening in the global south and make these stories tangible, so that this is not only happening in the media or happening at high level discussions or negotiating tables. This is an actual current situation, and that we need to either act upon by building ecological resilience, having governments' attention on what's going on the ground, going to the people and creating sustainability action around it, and also definitely phasing out coal and fossil fuel energy, making thus the transition that we need to cleaner future. So thank you very much.
The way we're going to reach this global goal is to raise ambition and contribute finance to both emissions reduction strategies and to adaptation. Climate Action Tracker tells us that limiting warming to 1.5 degrees is still feasible by the end of this century. It's time for action and not just words. This is a critical decade.